Yes, Sun, we're ready.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm sure we've had an exciting session with Dale Lane, and I can promise you that the next session is going to be equally exciting. We've heard Dr. Mrinalini Kochupillai before, and she's amazing. So that is just the beginning. Okay. From Coding and More, I just want to say a very warm welcome to all of you. We are the official country host for the ADA Lovelace Girls in AI 2021 India Hackathon. I'm Sani, an educator with Coding and More. And Coding and More is an edtech company that looks to create AI awareness among K-12 grades. And Dr. Mrinalini Kochupillai, we are so delighted to have you here today. I'm just going to give the children a brief intro. Ishita, if we can have the next slide. So Dr. Mrinalini Kochupillai is currently the co-scientist of International Future AI Lab in Munich. And she wears many hats. She's a lawyer, she's a social scientist, an entrepreneur. She conceptualized a blockchain-based startup. That's a big term, I know. But she is a master at simplifying it for us and making it so interesting and so understandable for us. So, and she brought together an international team to take the concept forward. She's very passionate about promoting mental health and well-being, particularly in university environments. In her free time, she teaches mindfulness, yoga, workplace wellness, and stress management as a volunteer for Sky Campus EU and UN accredited International Art of Living Foundation. Dr. Kochupillai, welcome here. We're so happy and so excited to have you, and it's over to you now.
Thank you for that very warm introduction, and I'm very excited to see many of you again. So I think I guessed right that I may have already met some of you. So I've prepared a slightly different presentation today, and since the theme is AI and not blockchain, which is another level of complexity, what we'll do is first we'll understand sustainability. That's my topic. Is that a good idea? Should we do that together? Yeah, because I've seen some of your questions, in the previous discussions. You've been asking questions like, oh, how can we use AI to solve the problems of the world? What are the biggest problems of the world, right? So to solve an issue, first we need to know what is the issue. And at what level can I start making a difference? Those are the burning issues, isn't it? Very good. So then I'm going to share my screen. We'll see how much we really need to actually do this. Yeah, I think this is it. Do you see my presentation or do you see my user notes? Is it fine? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay.
Yes, miss.
All right. So now what is this? What is sustainability? I want to know from you guys first. Who would like to answer?
Sustainability is the process of keeping something alive.
Okay, keeping something alive. Very good. What else? Yeah, Kavya?
It's when we maintain a healthy relationship with ourselves and the environment.
Very good. So you've added another dimension. You said keeping a relationship with ourselves and the environment. Very good. What else is sustainable?
Is it planting trees?
Okay, planting trees can be a part of sustainability. What are we sustaining by planting trees?
The environment.
The environment, yes. No, you're sustaining the environment by what do trees do?
Grow. Sustainability means where humans are not needed and it can keep working by itself.
Oh, so you want to create a globe without human beings. Is that right? Sustainability means human beings should not be required. Humans are not part of nature. Are human beings part of nature?
Yes.
Yes. So we say actually that, the understanding of the term sustainability has evolved over time. So when we talk about sustainability, we talk about three things. One is economic sustainability. That means anything that you create from a money perspective, from the perspective of people's livelihoods, so that we have something on our plates to eat, So from an economic perspective, it should be sustainable, from a money perspective. Second, as many of you mentioned, it should be sustainable from an environmental perspective. Otherwise, what used to happen was that businesses would only look at profits or how to make more and more money, as you saw yesterday during the keynote, and forget about the environment. That's why when someone asked yesterday, that why are we cutting so many trees? The answer was profits. We want more land to build more industries, so we keep cutting trees without thinking what will happen to the environment. So that is non-sustainable. How long can you keep expanding if you don't take care of the air that you're breathing, right? So environment.
If we cut down trees, then we won't have that much fresh oxygen.
Exactly. So if you can't breathe, what's the point of having a lot of money in the bank, right?
Yeah.
And also, for example, if you cut 2 trees, then you should maximum plant 2 more trees, or you can even plant 4 or 6 trees.
Yes. And who is it that's going to plant the trees?
You.
Cut it
Human beings. You or me, it's human beings, right? So in that whole aspect of sustainability, we also have to think about people. So people, so this is also known as the triple bottom line: people, planet, and profits. So anything to be sustainable, you have to have these three legs. And if you get rid of even one leg of a three-legged table, the table becomes unstable, right? So then it's no more sustainable. If you try to sit on that chair, then the chair will fall, right?
Yeah.
So we need to take care of all three things when we talk about sustainability.
When we are cutting down trees, we need to cut down and plant so we get our money and food that we want, and we are also safe.
Yes, exactly. No, so all three have to be taken care of. No, very good. So now the next question comes. We are now looking at United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That's a big word, big term. What is that? What is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals?
The United Nations have created 20 or 21 goals, I don't remember, but that they want all the countries to collaborate, and they want to complete each of these goals by the end of 2025 or 2050.
Excellent, very good. So, but then the first question for me is, what is the United Nations?
The United Nations is an organization of many countries and continents around the world.
Yes, and what do these countries do?
They get together and maybe start planting trees.
Yes, they get together. Unfortunately, they don't personally plant trees when they get together. They should do that. We should send them that recommendation, that not just sit around and talk, but essentially all the countries get together and sit around and talk. They talk about what are the problems of this world. They talk about how can we resolve those problems and who can do what to resolve those problems, right? So when this group of very intelligent people from all over the globe, all the countries got together, they created what are known as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. No? So here we see that the UN Sustainable Development Goals focus on many things, no? A little bit of a glimpse you can see on this slide here, no? So no poverty. So poverty is one of the big problems of this globe, right? Then hunger. So many people are dying of hunger on this planet, no? Health. So many of us don't have access to medicines, to hospitals. Education. No? We are all very privileged that we have parents who have enough resources to bring us to programs like this, but there are millions on this planet who have no access to any education. No, isn't that a big problem? So, and then of course, energy. No, so if you keep using coal or non-sustainable sources of energy, then soon we will have no electricity, right? Because all of the resources of the world will be over. So renewable energy is a goal that the big countries want to all pursue. Then, of course, every country and every human being wants jobs, right? So like this, there are 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. And in this particular hackathon, we are focusing on 3. You've seen those 3, right? So which SDGs are we focusing on? Anybody knows?
Climate change and life on land.
Climate test, exactly. So we have climate action, right? Then we have life on land. And then we have a third one, which is peace and justice and strong institutions. No? So now what we'll do is we will brainstorm a little bit. No, we'll go one by one with each of these SDGs, and we will together think about how can we, or how can you all as young children, what can you do to accomplish that sustainable development goal? Should we do that? Yeah. And then we'll come to the next step of what can we do with AI. Okay? All right. So let's start with climate action. So tell me some of your ideas.
This can I?
Yes, tell me.
First can be like plant more trees.
Yes, plant more trees. Okay, what else?
Less pollution.
Reduce pollution. And how all can we do that? How can we reduce pollution in very practical?
When we are going to short distances, we should walk, we should run, we can like cycle, but we shouldn't use cars. And if we all are going to the same place, then we should do carpool.
Excellent. All right. Can I request
We can find alternatives to fossil fuels.
You can find alternatives to fossil fuels. So can we have somebody taking notes for us so that all the points that are mentioned by the kids, we note them down? The first point was plant more trees. The second one was when we are traveling short distances, we either use public transport or walk. And then the third was finding alternatives to non-renewable sources of energy. What else?
That we should not burst crackers, because even if one temperature is rise across the globe, then it can make a huge impact to animals and birds and even us.
Yes, reduce the use of polluting crackers. Excellent. Fioni?
We can also stop hunting animals.
You can stop hunting animals. You can even stop eating animals, or reduce the amount of animals we are eating. And there's a very interesting mathematics to it. You want to know the mathematics of how eating meat contributes to climate change or to environmental pollution? You want to know?
Yes, miss.
It takes 25% of the amount of water that's on Earth. So 70% of Earth is water. So 25% of that 70% is how much it takes in every year to produce livestock.
Exactly. To give a simple example, think of a chicken, one chicken. So if you cut up, yes.
I want to tell something. There was actually one of these competitions, and you had to make like a movie. Like there were multiple topics. I chose environmental and climate action and similar things to that. So yeah, it was a short movie of 2 or 3 minutes.
You made a movie. Wow, wonderful. Then you should show it in your team, huh? Maybe
Yeah.
you guys get some ideas right from that, no? Kavya, you want to say something?
Yeah, so not only does it take a lot of water, like I think it takes 2,500 gallons of water to produce a pound of meat, but it only takes 25 gallons of water to make a pound of wheat. Also, because when um we breed so much lives, especially cows, for meat, mostly for meat, and we domesticate them for meat. But they also release a lot of methane, which is way more harmful than carbon dioxide. So that also creates pollution.
Excellent. Very good, Kavya. Ish, then Fioni has had her hand raised for a long time. Fioni?
Yes. So we so the things that we yes. So the things that we use, if it's a lot of like cars, electronic items,
Mhm.
if carbon emissions exceed or something like that happens, then our vehicles will stop working for a few days.
Okay, very good. Ishanvi, Ishanvi.
Shanti, and what I wanted to share is we can use less transport, because if we use more transport, it leads to climate action, and then it can reduce and sometimes extinct animals, like it can extinct the polar bear and all other types of animals, because polar bears are supposed to live in cold ice, and if
Yes.
the ice melts it becomes water and then they may die.
Yes, exactly. Very good, very good. Mahip.
Yes, so one more thing could be decrease. It's similar, but it's on a smaller scale. You can decrease traffic congestion, because traffic congestion increases the amount of fuel used in cars and also emits more greenhouse gases.
Very good. Sarth.
And actually, if you look at the social perspective of eating meat, then actually a lot of food for livestock production is drugged so that the animals become bigger so they can produce more meat. So if you are eating an animal whose just food has been drugged, then you can also your body can also get affected.
Yes, very true, very true. No, so this is very interesting. No, you guys have already marked out so many topics that contribute to climate action. No, now keep them in your mind, and we'll go to the next one, which is life on land. No, and you'll see here that many of the points you mentioned are actually overlapping with life on land. No, you'll see that because if you see the sustainable development goals, actually all 17 of them, they are very closely linked to one another. No, so for example, you said grow more trees, then you were talking about eating less meat, no, and then you can also link this up so much with the topic of growing food, agriculture, no, also like eating organic food. No, life on land means what? The land that we live on, we protect it, which means reducing the amount of plastic we use, because that creates soil pollution, or earth pollution of our lands. Agriculture, the way the food is produced these days, so much of chemical goes into the soil, and then that chemical from the soil goes into our water bodies, and then that goes into our rivers and oceans, killing also the life in the water. So it's all very closely interconnected, no? So when we grow food and eat food that is cultivated with less or no chemicals, you are supporting life on land, right? Also, when you eat local food, What happens when you are talking about transportation? Remember that so much of greenhouse gases produced through cars. What happens when you are eating locally grown food? What are you reducing?
You are reducing carbon footprint.
Exactly, carbon footprint. That means the distance the food has to travel, and the food doesn't walk on its own. It has to come through ships or flights or trucks. So the longer the distance the food has to travel, the more the food will be polluting in an indirect way before it reaches us. No? So eating local food supports both life on land as well as the climate action. It's very interesting, eating local food. So how local can you get?
Growing at home if there's space.
Yes, growing at your own home if you have space, right? No, making your own kitchen garden, creating awareness about how to
Actually,
even
I
keep.
already grow avocados with my dad in my house.
Yeah, you're growing avocados. Excellent, no? Very nice. So eating locally grown food and growing our own food also supports the life on land. So we'll go quickly now to the last one. Uh-oh, I think I skipped a slide here. So the last one we had was peace, justice, and strong institutions, right? So here, what do we have? What do you mean by peace, justice, and strong institutions?
Miss, what you mean is that there should be peace on whatever you do. There should be justice on whatever you do, and there should be strong institutions on whatever
Exactly.
you do. Like you can avoid shooting guns or
Yeah, it means reducing violence, right? I found my slide. No, it means reducing violence. And then if you see the next one here, caring for one another, is also peace, justice, strong institutions are created by caring for one another, right? And then very important, equality, equity, and equal opportunity. No, this is something that was also mentioned yesterday by our second keynote speaker, no, diversity, saying that there is for girls, also for girls from different backgrounds, with brown skinned girls, or even men, from different locations of the earth, not everybody currently has equal opportunity. We were talking about education, right? Not everybody on this earth has access even to education, isn't it? No? So all of this requires that we bring those opportunities to others, and that will promote peace and justice. What is justice? Justice means giving equal treatment to those who are situated in the same situation. Can you treat a mouse and an elephant in the same way? Is that justice? No, right? Very good. So similarly, students who are, say, for example, coming from very poor backgrounds, can we treat them, say that, oh, there are so many schools, why don't they go to school? Is it as easy as that? No, right? We have to give methods and processes have to be put into place that they can actually go to school, right? That is part of justice. And when you have justice, then there is automatically peace, isn't it? When is peace broken? So imagine if you have in your household 3 brothers and sisters, imagine, and your mom only gives food to your older brother and older sister, and you yourself get nothing. Will you feel peaceful and happy? No, right? So peace gets disrupted when there is no justice. So peace, justice together then create strong institutions. Institutions are what? At the smallest level, a family is an institution. No, because there is a specific way in which it runs, isn't it? You get up in the morning and immediately go to work to earn money for your house. No, you have a different role. Your role is to get educated, right? So from family, then you have schools are institutions. You have universities that are institutions, no? And bigger Institutions, for example, the United Nations. They're all institutions. So within the institution, when there is peace and justice, and when around the institution there is peace and justice, then there are strong institutions. So these are the 3 sustainable development goals. And now I'd like to go back, to some of the points you guys were mentioning and see what exactly can we do with AI to support the development or accomplishment of one or the other of these goals. Let's start with planting trees, since that's such a focus. What can you do? Tell me. How can you use AI to support the plantation of trees?
We can make a robot which will go around and it will plant trees
Okay.
whenever there is some space.
So what is the kind of information this robot will be needing to make that decision?
The robot will be a number of trees around.
Yes, okay.
The robot will be needing to know where there is, like, we will need to tell the robot not to plant trees on the road, because that's also space. And we have to tell the robot only to plant the trees on the mud.
And then there might be a satellite that would be viewing the forest, and it would tell the robot that only plant trees here.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a blank presentation and start writing everything that you guys are saying. All right. So first you said, what info does the robot need? So first you said it needs to have info on number of trees in its surrounding. What else?
The language is German.
What I'm writing is not German though.
No, the language that it's trying to detect.
That's okay. That's also some kind of an AI.
I know another point. Another
tell
point
me.
could be that the robot shouldn't plant trees like a one milli, it shouldn't grow the trees very quick, it shouldn't, the tree shouldn't stick to each other. They need space to grow. They need so it should know the distance. It should leave like a little bit of space.
All right, very good. Distance between trees.
We need to tell the robot to plant the trees only in the mud.
Okay, where to plant? So to detect whether there is soil under it. Let's start with these. Kavya, you want to say one more? Then we start with these. Now let's break it down.
Also, it shouldn't have already put some seeds into that same place. And also it can't be privately or publicly owned, so that there won't be any
All right, great. Now to see, it's very interesting, a robot, what you're saying, you're thinking of this little mini man that goes and digs the earth and puts stuff in there, right? Now behind that mini man, there are many small programs, and many of them require artificial intelligence or what is known as machine learning. Now info about the number of trees. Now if you remember the first keynote yesterday, remember what she was saying? She was saying that through artificial intelligence, you can teach a machine to recognize a tree, right? So how do you do that? You have to feed to the computer many images of different trees. and say, this is a tree, this is a tree, this is a tree, this is a tree. And then you show it images of grass, for example, and show this is not a tree, this is not a tree, right? So slowly the machine learns that when it's looking at a tree, it's whether it's looking at a tree, a shrub, a plant, grass, what, right? So for any of these things, the first thing you need to do is to train a machine to learn how to recognize something, right? Now here is where you need what is known as data. That's where data comes in. So when we talk about solving large problems of the planet, this might be too complex a step at the start, because as you can see, you have to break down the big problem into smaller problems before you can get to the very large problems, right? Now, simply what a machine learning or AI algorithm can do, if you can accomplish even one of the steps, this is a step towards accomplishing one of the Sustainable Development Goals. So for example, you can create a software that counts trees in its surroundings. Say for example, you're taking a software that when it's shown, with a camera, for instance, you take a photograph and it's recognizing this is a tree, this is a tree, this is a tree. So it can count the number of trees in any given location. On that basis, it can simply tell people that in this area there is probably estimation, how much oxygen or how much of lack of trees. So say for example, you can train your algorithm to say that in a 1 square kilometer area or 100 meter area, how many trees should there be and how many trees are there currently? What type of trees are there? What type of trees can you grow in this kind of location? So this would be the first step in understanding and recommending using machine learning how to solve the problem of there not being enough trees. You can do other things as well. So if this is too complex, we can think of other things. Let me share with you some of the other stuff that I've been doing. Just a moment. We were talking about eating local, right? I can't find that presentation of mine. Yeah. Okay. How many of you have eaten tortilla chips? You've all eaten tortilla chips, no? What colors have you eaten of tortilla chips?
Orangish red. Orange.
Orange, okay. Have you eaten these type of tortilla chips? Yes, slightly yellowish.
Yes, miss, like jalapeno chips.
Yeah. Have you eaten these types of tortilla chips?
Yes, I have. They're made from vegetables.
Really? Or are they made from this type of corn?
Actually, the one like this that I have had was made from beetroot.
Made from vegetables, beetroot. So then they are not tortilla chips anymore, right? Tortilla chips are traditionally made with corn. And here, for example, we can use AI to educate people. This can be a simple thing that you can do. You can collect information about what type of corn has what type of nutrition, where does it come from, and you can train a system to share information about specific types of food, what we call biodiversity. So eating local means eating the local biodiversity. Now, if you now, for example, if you come to Munich, you will not find this type of banana, this type of banana, this type of banana, this type. None of these types of bananas will you find in Munich in the market. But if you go to Kerala in South India, then you will find all of these. So AI can also be used for intelligent searching. So say you want to educate people to eat local. What you can do is run a survey in your markets, collect data on what types of bananas exist in the market, no? And what type of bananas exist in other parts, nearby local areas. So that then if somebody is searching, saying bananas near me, then the system can pop up and say that, look, you get 3 types of local bananas here, and they are available to buy in this marketplace nearby. So you have 3 categories of data here, right? You have type of banana, you have location where it is available, and you can have nutritional qualities of that banana. So that anybody who wants to buy local, you are supporting them with a device or a simple mechanism of identifying local types of bananas. What will it help them to do in terms of building their health if they choose to eat that banana other than the bulk yellow banana that they get everywhere? Yeah. And it's a simple AI based search system, and you will be supporting the sustainable development goals of climate action and life on land. You will also be supporting peace, justice, and strong institutions. Can you tell me how?
Because local people will get work, they'll make money.
Exactly. These local farmers who don't have access to international markets often because people don't know about these different bananas. You will be supporting them to continue their cultivation of these diverse types of bananas or tomatoes or corn, and supporting them to earn a livelihood. So you are supporting justice and peace.
By supporting local farmers also.
Exactly. So, it's very interesting. This is also known as agro-biodiversity. And this agro-biodiversity also leads to what is known as food security. Remember the first sustainable development goal? No poverty, followed by zero hunger. So you will see, if you start supporting local farmers, you will also support other sustainable development goals, like promoting reduction in poverty that is widespread amongst our local farmers, small farmers, and zero hunger, so that people can get access to food at a low cost. Locally grown food is much cheaper than imported food. That is food security. And that supports what we also known as food cultures. You saw the 3 prongs of sustainability, right? We were talking about people, planet, and profits, right? So culture is part of people. So tortilla chips, so that they don't have to be made from beetroot, but from actual purple corn, you can support food cultures. So this is some ideas for you guys to think about. Can you think of any other? Now I leave it to you guys. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. Can you think of other things you can do to, at a small scale, to not make the problem so complex that you have to build a whole robot? But simple 3 categories of data that you collect.
We can do one as like we can make a robot that tells everybody to eat those kind of bananas, and like we can like with the AI we can put pictures of those kind of bananas in the robot, so then the robot tells everyone that they should have that banana.
Okay, very good. You can train the robot not to just plant trees, but select the right type of banana. Yes, very good. What else? Simple, small things. Have you guys, you were talking about class, yeah, Fioni?
So, is there anything that can help us measure the amount of water we are using to wash our vessels, so that if we are using a lot of water, it will allot us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sure you
That
can
we
create.
can, so that
Yes,
we can
it's
save
possible, I'm
water.
sure, to create a machine like that. Yes, that's a way. Yes, monitoring how much water we are using, and then simplifying things for ourselves to begin with. No, when we are learning something big, it's important to start small. No, simplify the problem to the smallest first step. No, so the problem of reducing the use of water. No, so you can reduce the use of water by, for example, when you're washing dishes, you can reduce the amount of water used by filling the sink with water, putting soap in it, and putting all the dishes into it at once rather than washing them individually with the tap running constantly, right? No? And then what you can do is simply measure for some time water tap running. Tap is running with water. You calculate, okay, when my tap is at full and it's running for 3 seconds, how much of a 1 liter jug gets full? You note down that number, right? And then what you do is you run the tap for 1 minute, fill your sink with water, and you do your mathematics, no? And see how much water did you fill up into the tub, and how much water would you have used if you had been washing all those dishes in running water. Simple math, no? Things that you can do, so that you can start creating a data set for yourself that you can measure on your own, right?
I want
And
to
then
tell something. To reduce the plastic, we can connect with the local shopkeepers who sell cloth bags, and yes, we can train the robot like that.
very good, yes. You can train your create a little app which tells your local shopkeepers where they can buy not plastic wrappers but paper based wrapping material or jute based wrapping material, no? So to create any simplest code, you can start with, you need at the first level, you need data, you need information, no?
Miss, we can make a robot that makes only paper wrapping.
Yes, very good.
Because we still have to stop plastic. But
Yes,
then if
exactly.
we're making paper wrapping, we're still cutting down trees to make that paper. So it should be recycled paper wrappings. Yes.
Yeah, very good.
And also, when we get cardboard, we can we shouldn't use extra. We should only use the amount of paper wrapping and cardboard we need.
Yes, very good.
Also, we can make paper wrap from newspaper.
So should we now go to the next step? I will leave you guys with your coding experts who can teach you now how to create these things that you're calling robots. No, they don't necessarily have to be little human figurines. They can be computer programs, no? So creating a machine like that is not possible in a weekend, right? Is it possible to create a little machine like that in one weekend? No, right? But we can create small computer programs that help to collect the relevant data and to make analysis using that data and help people search and make intelligent choices using an analysis of that data. No, that can be the first step to understanding coding and how AI can help accomplish our sustainable development goals. And you guys have with you all here very, very amazing coaches who can teach you how to do that. No, I really liked yesterday when one of your keynote speakers, the second keynote speaker, was saying, no, to see how AI can help look around you and see what problems are you currently having. Was very cool, no? So for example, my daughter is very, very passionate about reducing the use of plastic. So then how can we do that at our level with the understanding that we have? That is something to think about, no? From small steps, then you can climb a mountain. So every step counts and every step is important. No? If we try to jump and skip steps and reach the top of the mountain, we will fall very fast. No? So be patient and start small steps. What can I do? What data am I able to collect? What small little program can I make right now to resolve the smallest unit of the issue? Is that good? Very good. You guys are amazing, no? Very inspired to meet you all and how clever ideas you all have. It's very, very inspiring. And I've been hearing all of the questions you've had for the other speakers and how enthusiastically you guys have all been participating. It's very inspiring for me. So is there anything else? Supriya, would you like me to stay up, talk about anything else? Or if there are more questions, I'm happy to answer.
I think Ishanvi and Aman have a question for you.
Okay, Ishanvi.
Actually, I forgot to lower my hand.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So that was
Okay.
kids. Did that help you? Is it getting easier now to think through your challenge?
Much easier, miss. A little bit.
Okay.
I would say just jump in, no? You can brainstorm together in your teams. Think of the smallest problem from the big problem that you have selected, like we broke down right now, no? The tree planting robot. We broke it down into steps. And then you can see the first step, how can we resolve it with codes? And you'll be amazed with that one step, then you will learn the next steps very fast.
Okay, yes. So I guess children, we've all learned the importance of, we need to start thinking small. We've got these big, big issues, big SDGs that we need to think about, and it seems like a big mountain that we have to climb. But I think that's a very important pointer she's given us, is to think very small, think what part of such big SDGs is around you right now, and think in your surroundings how you can make a difference. And I think that's a very good starting point. Thank you, ma'am. That was an amazing session, breaking down sustainability, discussing all the 3 SDGs. The children are definitely better off now. We're all, even the mentors, we're all so better off with the direction that we're supposed to take the conversation with the kids, the importance of data, how to collect it, how to just simplify this huge, big problem that we're tackling, to just think small, start small, and small things I think will eventually lead to big things. So thank you, ma'am, so much for your time. And I'm sure on behalf of all the mentors and children, I'm saying thank you, big thank you. Children, all our hearts to show the love. Yes, all showing our love. Thank you, ma'am. We hope to have you with us more often. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity and all the best to all the teams. And I'm sure you all rock. Bye.
Bye,
Thank
miss.
you. Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye.